Now, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a program called Power Options. And representing that program are Robert Cielick and Janice Hayes. Please.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting us. To start with, I would like to jump right in with a quick snapshot of where the HEFA Power Options program is today. Power Options is a group of well over 500 nonprofit institutions that collectively spend $150 million annually on their electric bill. Power Options members will save at least $18 million over the next 5 years. Just since March, our members have saved over $2.1 million. And HEFA now has 200 new client relationships that we didn't have before. So how did we get here? For 30 years, the Massachusetts Health and Educational Facilities Authority, HEFA, has been quietly and efficiently issuing tax-exempt bonds for hospitals, colleges, and other nonprofits in the state. Until recently, only the very largest were even aware of our existence, and the smaller community-based nonprofits, to them we were virtually invisible. As HEFA's new executive director in 1996, I knew that we needed to take a new and bold approach to becoming useful to all of our nonprofits. And then the proverbial light bulb went on. Everyone needs to reduce their operating costs. And an economic movement within our state, and now sweeping across the country, presented a compelling opportunity to help our nonprofits both cut their costs and to keep the lights on. Massachusetts, it turns out, is one of the first states in the nation beginning to deregulate its electric utility industry. Now, no one knew very much about it, and everyone said that large businesses would benefit the most. That big dogs would eat first in this new marketplace. But we thought, why is it inevitable that big businesses will win? We launched the Power Options program to make sure that the small players, like the Children's Museum and the South Shore Mental Health Center, would also win. Why is the Power Options program innovative? First, we took the initiative to organize the entire Massachusetts nonprofit community, which had never worked together before. We listened to our members and relied heavily on our advisory council of institutions. Second, we forged ahead in the brave new world of competitive and open energy markets, where almost everyone else feared to tread. We assembled a team of experts to provide technical assistance that no individual nonprofit institution could ever afford on its own. Third, we approached the project non-bureaucratically, with one and only one goal in mind: to find reliable energy at the lowest possible cost for every one of our nonprofits. We stepped out quickly, and even before the new law had been written, let alone passed, we had hundreds of nonprofits assembled into the state's first and largest energy buying consortium. Power Options members, the often overlooked nonprofit sector, spend more than $150 million a year on electricity. We made sure that power suppliers knew it. Once we got proposals from around the country, we negotiated completely novel and complex, frankly, first of their kind contracts. When we encountered problems, and we sure did, we found solutions instead of throwing up our hands and walking away from the table. Were we effective? Absolutely. We got the first firm price for electricity in the state, which has subsequently been proven to be the lowest price in the state. Just since March, the Museum of Fine Arts has saved $25,000. Bentley College has saved $49,000, for example. Total savings for our participants will be more than $18 million over the life of the contracts, and that will only grow as more nonprofits sign on board. That will allow them to use their money for essential services. Were people surprised? Believe it. When we launched the program, we heard, great idea, but no governmental agency will ever be able to pull this one off. Everyone expected that local business giants like Fidelity, Gillette, Raytheon would get a better deal than the Nevins Nursing Home, Plymouth Plantation, the Carroll Center for the Blind. We turned conventional wisdom about government programs on its head. We believe the Power Options program success story can be replicated. Deregulation is underway in 17 states and being contemplated in 23 others. Every week we get calls from many states across the nation and from other countries. We believe that government should promote electricity competition, but should also make sure that this new marketplace benefits everyone, including the patients at St. Luke's Hospital, the students at the Berklee College of Music, and even our penguins at the New England Aquarium. Thank you.
That was it. Please, Bill.
How do you see the long-term prospects for the program? There's some indication in the material that the edge which you presently have may disappear over time. Is that, can you respond to that?
Certainly. We think in any competitive marketplace, the large purchasers will always have an edge with regard to price. So our group, being out ahead, certainly got a great price because we were able to attract an energy supplier into the state that wanted to gain a foothold. And we were able to make our group look cohesive, well-informed, and very attractive to energy suppliers outside our state. Going into the future, we believe that such groups will still win, and we believe that nonprofits will still be able to win in the competitive market. Another aspect of our program that we really will be focusing on going into the future, however, is energy efficiency. And in the nonprofit sector, organizations very rarely take advantage of using less energy because they need capital to do it. They need money to implement energy efficiency projects. So we've come up with an energy financing program, which is tied in with our Power Options program, where we have a very low-cost financing program where organizations, when they have gone through an energy audit, which is going to be supplied by our energy suppliers, and have a project on the horizon which will save them even more money, we will be able to provide them with financing to do it. So,
Ben?
I have a concern that I'd like you to help dispel. And it really is inherent in your analysis of the benefits of your program, because you're right, as we go to a competitive electricity market around the country, the big concern is that large industrial users will be able to be, if you will, price setters, and everybody else who's in the position of being a price taker will be disadvantaged, that it is to an extent a zero-sum game. So while I really am impressed with what you've done for nonprofits, tell me why I shouldn't look at this and say, all right, now what we've done in Massachusetts is that we said large industrial users, and now the newly, through the state of Massachusetts, organized nonprofits will all be price setters, further disadvantaging the real price takers, poor people, residential users, small business people, who have no one bargaining on their behalf.
One of the aspects of our program, well, first of all, the legislation in Massachusetts has ensured that households receive a 10% reduction and soon a 15% reduction in their bill. But in our program, what we've done is extend the same discounts that our nonprofit institutions have received to the employees of those institutions, which is a new way of wielding power in the competitive marketplace. So, and we are just beginning to roll out our employee program through our nonprofit institutions as an added benefit of employment at a nonprofit. So that we've come up with a strategy which we hope will be replicated to bring the benefits that the larger users get right down to the households.
It's also, by the way, a model that when we go out and talk to other states that we hope that they will emulate as well. We were very pleased last week to be notified by our counterpart up in the state of Maine that they intend to adopt the entire model, including the name, for their constituents as well.
Dot, did you have a question?
I understand there's a referendum on the ballot this November that would have an effect. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. We all operate in political environments, as you know. We were talking about it yesterday, and we wanted to keep the program apolitical. And then when it seemed like deregulation may not go forward, we got involved in making sure that the legislation was passed and would protect the interest of our buying consortium. And we wanted to make sure that people knew that nonprofits would win if this legislation was passed. And then we're ready to roll out our program, and all of a sudden there's 40,000 signatures gathered to repeal the legislation. That effort has actually since pretty much fizzled in Massachusetts. The current polls show only 25% of the electorate in favor of repealing the law. However, at the time, we really had to respond. And so what we did was, in terms of keeping our energy supplier interested and in keeping our membership protected, in case the legislation was repealed, we put the savings that our members began receiving on March 1st into an escrow account that has accumulated to $2.1 million as of this date. And when the referendum is defeated and the law is upheld, as we believe it will, we're going to be sending out checks to our member organizations for their savings and then go forward with it.